can't handle the truth.
Welcome to Drop Me Off in Nashville with Scotty and friends.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hey, listen, welcome to Drop Me Off in Nashville. Your all-access pass to story, sounds, and the soul of Music City. I got a cool show today, you guys. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while. I've done a lot of prep. I've done a lot of research. And I can't tell you how incredibly impressed I am by these gentlemen that are sitting in this room with me. I'm down in Newport Richey, Florida, and working with my good friend Mark in the studio. Mark, good morning. How are you?
Is it me you're talking to?
Yeah, I'm talking to you, sir.
I'm here.
Good morning. How are you?
Morning.
Can you believe these guys are in with us?
It's exciting, man. I've already had fun. Just the stuff we've been doing with. I don't want to give anything away, but I've been having a blast with our guests.
I think I'm going to shut my mic off and let these two banter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. We'll do an introduction to these fabulous human beings.
Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Ready. Let's do this. It's showtime. Please pay attention. Stop what you're doing and welcome our guest.
Angelus Country Concert. Now, this is a pretty amazing thing. This gentleman by the name of Charlie Daniels, everybody in Nashville, we love Charlie Daniels. I mean, anywhere we've seen him, he's just a superhuman being. And he would come down to Newport Richey. We had Johnny and June Carter Cash come to Newport Richey. And then when they do come down here, they meet people like this gentleman by the name of Steve Booth. Steve Booth, welcome to my show, sir.
Thank you very much, Scott.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time and coming in. I really, I'm honored by it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
You know, the not because you're friends with Johnny and Charlie Daniels, that's cool for sure. But because of what you were a part of, this Angelus Country Concert. Can you kind of tell me a little bit about that? Before we get started, let me interrupt one more second. I'm sorry, but we also have a guest with us by the name of Mark George. Mark, you're good friends with Steve, correct?
I am.
So between the two of you guys, I'm probably going to hear some stuff.
Yes.
So
he's a consummate gentleman, but yes, you're going to hear things.
Well, Steve, if you could tell me a little bit about this country concert series that Charlie Daniels did for the kids, man, I'd love to hear all about it.
Well, the Angelus is a home for disabled individuals. They're all wheelchair bound, and most of them were cerebral palsied. Many of them have been with us for quite some time when they were kids, and now they're adults and they're still living with us. It's a series of group homes on 17 acres up north of here in Hudson. And we have 5 or 6 of the individuals living in each one of the houses. And Charlie got introduced to us about 32 years ago,
wow,
something like that. And he was down here on a paid performance. And one of our persons involved in the Angelus was working with Charlie at that paid gig that he had, and talked to him a little bit about Charlie's charitable endeavors. And he then told Charlie about the Angelus, and Charlie says, well, I'd like to go see it. He came out, and then he set up, our committee chairman set up this country concert and a golf tournament, etc., and Charlie came down,
wow,
and performed. And
no charge, I bet.
No charge. And
right,
what he said to me and to a number of the people is that after that first year, he said, I'm going to continue to do this as long as I am able to. And he came down 27 years in a row and performed and helped us raise a hell of a lot of money for the benefit of the Angelus. And we certainly do miss Charlie since he has passed away.
Yeah.
But we had 27 years of great, great memories of what he did and some of the things that occurred. We met a lot of superstars We've had.
I mean, some of the people on this list, Steve, Asleep at the Wheel, Bailey and the Boys, Tommy Cash, rest in peace, Tommy. Tommy's buried right next to his mom and dad, actually. I just stopped and paid my respect to him in Nashville last week. Vince Gill was here, Jack Green, oh my gosh, what a gentleman. Jan Howard, Mickey Jones. There were so many that you guys had here.
And there are a lot more. That was just the third annual. And,
oh my gosh.
We've had wonderful ones. John McEwen was one of the ones that I thought was really a gentleman and so talented. He would get up on stage and play a guitar, and he'd put it down and pick up a banjo and put it down, and it was amazing. And the other thing that I liked about John was that on several occasions when nobody else was around, he would drive out to the Angelus and go out and just sit with some of the kids and play music for them. And
wow.
they just loved it.
Who did that, Johnny Cash?
No, John McEwen.
John McEwen would do that.
John McEwen.
Wow.
And
way to go, John. That's so cool.
The first year...
You know what I like about hearing these kind of stories is that they do this out of the goodness of their heart, right, Mark?
Yes.
I mean, they're doing this stuff. They don't have to, right?
No, but I want to make you aware of something. Newport Richey, as you mentioned, has a rich history with Nashville. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I call it Little Nashville South here.
Yes.
But one thing I do want you to recognize, he mentioned Charlie Daniels came approximately 30 years ago, 1990 or so.
Roughly,
93. This episode looks like it's on.
Yeah,
but to tell you the kind of gentleman, Steve's a good friend of mine. He's also very easy to like. He's just a great guy. But he's been doing this how many years, Steve, for the Angelus?
40
years.
Think about that, folks. When you have to get up and do something for somebody selfishly, I think that's an amazing. Maybe a ticket to heaven. Not sure. My dad used to tell me the older he got, the nicer he was because he was trying to get his way into heaven. But I'm just a side story. Rest in peace, Dad. But I can't believe that you did that for so many years. You have a heart of gold. That's amazing,
and he's still doing it.
Still doing it.
You just mentioned Johnny Cash. I'd like to tell you a little story of with Johnny that occurred. You know, he spent a lot of time here in his younger years in Tarpon Springs and Newport Richey. Mm-hmm. And his then mother-in-law, Maybelle Carter, had a home on the river out here called the Pithlitchescody River.
Yes.
And there was a gentleman here by the name of Des Little. And he and his family had a stilt house out in the Gulf.
I've seen that.
Okay, and Johnny contacted Des Little, who was the patriarch of the family, and asked if he could use their stilt house for a weekend. And so Des Little went out and he cleaned the place all up. It was early in the season, as I recall. And he came down and he brought Billy Graham with him. And their wives, and they spent the weekend there. And Pete Little, who was one of the sons of Des Little, was a very close friend of mine, and he owned a country bar here in town. And he called me up and said, Johnny is coming into Maybelle Carter's home for dinner Sunday night. Would you like to come join us? And I said, absolutely. So I went down to the house on the Cody River there, and Johnny was there, and June Carter was there, and Johnny seemed like he was nervous, and he was wandering around in the house a little bit, and
preoccupied on his mind.
Yeah, and anyway, when we were done with dinner, he said, I'd like to have all of you step out. Johnny Cash said this. I want all of you to step outside here. And
of Maybelle's house.
Of Maybelle's house, correct.
Okay.
And he said, I really appreciate Des Little, for having us here, and we get to use his camp. What a wonderful place it is out there and everything. And he said, Elvis, whenever he appreciates somebody, he gives them a Cadillac. But he said, I can't afford that. But he said, I do have this. And he handed Des the keys to a brand new Toyota Land Rover.
Wow.
And Des drove that thing till the day he died.
So the wheels almost fell off, I bet.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's something that he's leaving out here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Steve is also a musician. He was in a famous group called Peter Little and the Little Peters, okay? And they played at the, was it Silver Spur?
Silver Spur, yeah.
And tell us about that night.
Silver Spur.
It was a long night.
Where's Silver Spur? Was that the country bar here in town?
That was
one of three.
They had 3 country bars in this town.
Yes.
Where are they now, everybody? I think we have the stockyard, but
they're all gone.
They're all gone. Come back. We need a good country bar. Mark, get your thing open.
I'm working on it. But anyway, he has a good story about the Silver Spur. And,
another night at another trip when Johnny was here, Pete called me, Pete Little. And he said, Johnny's going to be up at the Spur. You want to come up? So I went up to the Silver Spur, and we sat in the back. Johnny was back there with us, and probably 8 or 10 people sitting at the table. And the rest of the bar, it was pretty crowded, didn't know that Johnny was there. So Pete asked Johnny if he would get up and sing a couple songs. And so he walked up on stage, and he said his traditional greeting, Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Yes.
And the place went nuts because there was no doubt it was him.
Right.
And then he played a couple songs for us, and I've never forgotten that. And, of course, Johnny also did a benefit one year down here for the 2 police departments, Port Richey and New Port Richey Police Department. And all the proceeds went to buy different items that they would need to supplement taxpayers.
And that's why it's so important people realize the Newport Richey's connection to Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash. And hopefully we can make something happen in the
John
future.
Carter. Yeah,
Carter.
We reached out. I sent him a couple of emails. I did a little thing about John Carter on my last podcast that I did to let him know that if we can get him, great. If we can't, we understand. But I think we'll work that out.
Yeah,
I'm sure that John will be fine with all that.
Yeah, well, he used to spend some time here as well, correct, Steve?
Yeah, as my memory serves me, John Carter was at that dinner that we had there.
Yeah, John Carter wrote a book. It's called House of Cash. And it's the legacy of my father, Johnny Cash, written by John Carter Cash. And in chapter 8 on this book, he talks about him and his dad, how they were out on the ocean, and a little Tweety bird guided him back in the shore. And there was a whole story about that. And I thought it was just very sweet on how those memories and the things that when they were able to come to Newport Richey, they could be themselves.
Yes.
Nobody was pounding on the gate. The security guard wasn't out there waiting. He wasn't getting hounded at the grocery store. He could just be himself. And I think that's probably why Charlie Daniels liked it here, too, because he could just come down, do his thing, be amongst his friends, you, Steve,
yes,
and do it and be him. I mean, for any celebrity, I could tell you that's a gift.
Yeah. And I always tell people, all my friends in Nashville, as you know, we both spend a lot of time in Nashville. And I tell them, Nashville, of course, is on a river. And I said, well, we have little Nashville on the south here.
Come on
down to Newport Richey.
Nobody's going to bug you.
Nobody's going to bug you. And I said, you'll be able to play at my place. And so it does have a rich history associated with Nashville. And I think it's important that we document it with guys like Steve that have seen it and watched it
over and over again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the stilt house that Johnny and Billy Graham stayed at was destroyed in one of the storms.
Sure.
And it was never built back again.
Yeah. But I saw there's 3 or 4 of them out there, right? Was it in that area where his was too?
Right there.
Yeah. So let me ask you some questions about Johnny, not about Johnny Cash, but by Charlie Daniels,
sure.
Okay? What's your favorite Charlie Daniels song?
Is there any doubt?
Is it The Devil Went Down to Georgia?
Absolutely.
Why? Because it just gets you going?
It just gets you going.
Yeah.
And it gets the crowd going, I can tell you that.
Okay, so let's take the celebrity out of this next question, okay, Steve?
All right.
Describe Charlie Daniels in one word.
Wow.
Not the musician. Let's take the artist part out. As your friend.
Genuine human being.
You can't because he's too good. So genuine human being, that just says how great of a human being he is and what you feel about him. That's wonderful to hear.
You know, one thing, I was around him a lot when he was down here. I never once saw him not give an autograph when requested or not give a picture. And he'd be sitting at the dinner table with our dinner concert, and somebody'd come up in the middle of him eating, and he would stop, and he'd stand up and take a picture if they wanted. He'd sign an autograph. He never refused anybody.
You know, and I just did an episode about that, and there's a lot of the kids or the new people that don't get it yet, and as they age and get more wisdom in them, Steve and Mark, they'll start to realize what kind of gift that they have by being in this industry and get to play music for their life and for the rest of their life. And what comes with that is fans.
Yes.
And country music fans are extremely loyal. You can stop recording, you can stop putting records out, but if you go on tour and you're playing for 30,000 people or you're playing for 500, those people are going to be there no matter what. So that doesn't surprise me at all, because the older the artist is and the longer they've been in this business, the sweeter that they are. But I would imagine somebody like Charlie Daniels, because I've heard that story echoed to me before, that's how he always has been and always would have been. You know, he's always going to be nice to his fans. Come on, that's awesome. You
know, the very first concert we had down here, we had the dinner concert over here at the Spartan Restaurant, and we were selling raffle tickets. And a bunch of us went out through the crowd, and they would go back, collect the money, checks, whatever, and then go in the back and give it to the people that were counting the money. And I went back there, and there was a couple of other people who were turning in their money, and one guy says, "Look at this. I got a check from Charlie Daniels for $100. And I said, "Oh, you do?" I said, "I got a check from Charlie Daniels for $100. And he gave about 4 people separate checks for the raffle, right?
None of that, Mark. That's amazing.
I'll never forget this. About
Give back.
A week after the event was over and Charlie was back home, Hazel, his wife, called
Sweet lady.
the contact. Oh, yeah, she's a great lady. Contacted one of our chairmen of the event, and she said, "How much money did you make?" And they said it was about $38,000. And she said, "Okay, I'm going to send you a check for $2,000 so that we'll get an even 40." Oh. So then they sent a check to get us.
Let's not forget, they're already doing. Listen, to rent a bus, to feel the bus, to pay his. He's still got to pay his. I'm sure he paid his staff.
Yes.
All the things that come with it, everything that's normally on his rider, including a pack of gum. He took care of all of that.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's pretty remarkable. So let's just say Charlie Daniels charges is $100,000 and his rider and backline is an additional $25,000. You guys, you have to realize what we're saying here. Charlie Daniels for almost 30 years ate that cost.
Yes.
And every year it got more and more and more, but he still ate that cost. And then he donated his time and his talents to the people that needed him most, the Angelus kids that needed help.
And they're severely disabled.
Yeah.
And like Steve said, I said to him earlier, I said, "Well, how many kids are there?" He said, "Well, there's quite a bit." But he said, "We've had them since they're young." So that's their primary support group because they're that bad.
If there's any way that I can get involved with that, we'd love to do that for sure. Hey, we'll be right back. We're going to take a short break.
Hey, listen! Hey, don't go nowhere. We've got more coming at you.
That's right, y'all.
They were legends, icons, voices that shaped the soul of country music. Johnny Cash.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Loretta Lynn.
Well, I was born a coal miner's daughter.
Now you can walk through the places they called home all in one day. Just outside of Nashville, explore Hideaway Farm, the private cabin retreat where Johnny Cash found peace, prayed, and played for friends. See his personal cars, memorabilia, and the home that held his heart. Then, just a scenic drive away, step into the story of Loretta Lynn at her historic ranch in Hurricane Mills. Tour her beautiful home, visit her museum, and stand in the footsteps of country royalty. 2 American legends, 2 unforgettable homes, 1 epic day trip just outside of Nashville. Book your tours now and experience country music history up close and personal. This is more than sightseeing, it's stepping into the soul of Nashville.
Okay, yeah, Charlie Daniels was not just special, he was extraordinary, as Steve Booth is. I mean, these guys both dedicated years to this. Steve Booth doesn't get paid.
No. Hey, by the way, guys, we're back. And we talk about things over the break, and I'll tell you, Mark, that was very sweet of you to say because you meant it, and I can tell that.
Of course.
When you talk to people like a Steve Booth who are just, he lives his life, he does his thing, he doesn't need to go out and say, he just does. He just does. And that's something that's very impressive.
Yeah, but he's committed, as Charlie Daniels was. Charlie Daniels was committed to these kids.
You know, to find somebody to pick up the torch, maybe somebody a stature of maybe a Vince Gill and Amy Grant. Those people have hearts of gold like that as well.
Vince Gill played this event.
No surprise. That doesn't shock me at all.
He played it with Charlie Daniels.
Steve, what did you think of Vince? I mean, he was a great human.
He was great, and the story that I remember was it was an after dinner get-together, and the celebrities would come to a room and just sit around, and a lot of picking went on and everything. And Vince Gill got up there and started strumming his guitar, and this little 9-year-old girl came up there close to him, and he picked her up and sat him on his lap and sang to her. And that just always impressed me, and I remembered it.
His daughter's name, I think, is Jenny, and I bet he did that so many times before because Jenny's out doing it too, and she's a great entertainer and a good singer, and I hope that she can find her space in country music because we need people like her.
Well, I'm sure if that apple doesn't fall far from the tree, Vince is a unique talent, as you know.
Right.
Great guitar player and great singer.
I was at the Ryman backstage, and it was him and Loretta Lynn. It's the evening that I got to spend quite a while in Loretta's dressing room with her before the show. And Vince came out in a, I think it was a Predators jersey. I don't know, I'm telling you that. But the two of them were out on the Ryman stage, and I'm sitting on the side stage watching these two kind of from the back, and the people in the audience staring at them, and there's tears running down my face. And Pete Fisher, who was a GM there, come up next to me and slapped me on the back. And I said, it's a pretty special moment to see something like this. And Loretta Lynn, I mean, she was in this beautiful brown gown. It looked like the thing cost $10,000. And she was dressed to the hilt because she always honored the Ryman. I mean, that's just who she was. And Vince was sitting there playing with her. And I think he was just as in awe because it was Loretta Lynn and what her story was. But I love hearing stories about these older country folks. So when you were hanging out with Charlie Daniels, it wasn't Charlie Daniels, the superstar. It was Charlie Daniels, my friend.
Absolutely.
So would he come to the house? Would you go to the bus? Would you guys go to dinner?
I went to the bus a couple of times. Most of the time it was around the event. You know, there was a few minutes here and there and like that. But we had a golf tournament in connection with the concert.
He was a big golfer, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was a big golfer. He was not a good golfer.
That's all right.
But anyway, I had the privilege a number of years of driving his golf cart. And so I got to know a lot about his politics and his feelings for the Angelus, and how much he appreciated the opportunity to come down there and perform for us. And of course, he never ever charged us a nickel. There's one other little story I'd like to say is that we built a log cabin, if you will, 4,500 square feet log cabin out there for the Angelus for respite when parents that had the children in their own home, but they needed little break, and so they'd bring the kids out to the Angelus to stay for a couple of weeks so the parents could do their own thing. And we called it Charlie's Lodge. And, of course, Charlie knew we were building it, but he had never seen it until he came down for the concert. And we were planning on dedicating it that first day that he was here. So this is, the setting is a wooded area, and there's a windy road that brings you to the cabin. And we put Charlie in a horse and buggy, he and Hazel, and we drove him around and pulled up to Charlie's Lodge, and he started crying. I started crying, and we had a lot of, and that was all built by volunteers, by the way, and the local sheriff allowed us to use a lot of trustee labor.
Oh.
So they'd send these guys out every morning, and they would do a lot of the work out there, and they were, some of them pretty proficient at the trades and like that. But anyway, so the sheriff allowed them to come that day when we were dedicating the lodge to Charlie, and they were all in their orange shirts that said trustee. And so the sheriff then presented Charlie with one of those shirts, and he just put it right on and wore it the rest of the day. That was just Charlie. He was just.
I'm one of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So here's the weird part. He has a cabin just like that in Nashville.
Really?
I wonder if that his place, the log cabin, his office was built in Nashville, and then he didn't know that you guys are doing it here, and it would happen to be a log cabin, probably similar, and that's God. That's how God works in my mind. And he probably went, wow, what's the chances of this? Because you could have built him anything. Yeah. But to build him a log cabin, that's what his office is outside of Nashville. I'm not going to say where, and it's that same type of setup. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, Steve plays this off like he's nonchalant, but he was a good enough friend to get a personal hat from Charlie Daniels.
You guys brought that in. Yeah, that was, and the bow was all like just how whenever Charlie plays it, he tears that bow up.
And I will tell you, the people will see that on the website, but he was special here, as Johnny and June were. And I think we have to take this time to thank Steve, too, because he's been there for a long time.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, what you've done and put together for these children, and the thousands and thousands of dollars that you've done, it's pretty awesome.
You know, the real heroes are the staff members who work with these kids every day.
That's right.
Because remember that a lot of them have G tubes is the only way that they're fed.
Yep.
Some of them are spastic and throw their arms every which way. We've had a broken jaw of one of the staff members and like that. And the ones that are out there are so dedicated to these kids, and they have to change the diaper on grown men and women. And it's just, it's a very, very difficult job. They're the real heroes. And Charlie always acknowledged them.
Well, sure.
Yeah. That's just because you're so humble, too. But you're right. Those are the heroes. My next-door neighbor takes care of autism kids, and I tell her all the time that you're a hero. That's what you are.
But Charlie Daniels was in a position to assist in the funding of that so they can pay those attendants. And so were you, Steve. And that's a big player, too, whether they like to acknowledge it or not. They are players.
Was Johnny a big joke teller? Charlie, did he tell you a lot of jokes? Because every musician seems to have all the best jokes.
I'm an attorney. And he always wanted to tell me a lawyer joke.
And they always had one.
Sorry to ruin the interview on you guys. He's an attorney.
So I was in the studio last week in Nashville, and while we're doing mic checks and the guys are getting their instruments ready, we all have headphones on. There's 7 grown men in there. And each one of them have a better story or cracking a joke about the next guy or picking on somebody or teasing someone. Yeah. It's so funny how all musicians always have the best jokes and they know what to say.
Well, I have to put a disclaimer on this whole thing while we're here. Mark, you can't cut this out, all right? But this is for Bob Bell and the other folks at breakfast. I am still the smartest guy at the table. It isn't Steve. And I'm also the smartest guy on the mic.
Scott.
Gentlemen, you want me to fire him? I will.
I do want to tell you the story about the hat.
Please.
One of the years, I forget which it was, we had discussed sending our founder, Pauline Shaver, and her husband on a cruise. And so we wouldn't use Angelus money for that.
Sure.
We had Charlie, when he was up on stage, tell the audience that we're going to pass the hat so that we can send them on this cruise. And I said, I was right in the front there of the stage, and I said, Charlie, we don't have a hat. And he said, here, use mine. And so he took the hat off, and that's what they passed around, raised several $1,000s out of that audience. And so he was still performing while they were passing the hat. And they brought the hat up front, and I had it with, after the money had been taken out of it, they gave me the hat. And Charlie finished his song, and I just stood up and I said, Charlie, here's your hat. And he took it, and he said, here, Steve, you keep it, and put it on my head.
What a great gesture.
So let me ask you this, because this is always weird for me. I have a lot of celebrity friends, and I sometimes I go, I want to ask for an autograph, but I'm your buddy and I don't want you to think I'm a dummy. Did you say, but then when I did get the courage and get it, I was so happy that I did because they made their mark on the world. Did he offer to sign the hat, or did you ask him to sign the hat, or how did that go? Do you remember how that went down?
As I recall, he said, do you want me to autograph this? And I said, certainly.
Yes.
And did you notice in the hat band, it said, this hat especially made for Charlie Daniels?
Yeah, that looks like somebody got, he's got his own manufacturer.
Yeah, he did, in Colorado.
The hat looked so much bigger when it was on him, but when I was holding it today and looking at it, number one, I was scared to touch the felt on it because I didn't want my hands to be, so I was worried about that. So I was very careful, but I just think that when you're friends with a celebrity or somebody who is in the public eye, there's that fine line of we're friends, so we're good. But at the same time, you did make your mark on the world, ma'am, or sir. You know, if I would like to have something in my memorabilia about you because you are very special to a lot of people.
Yeah, and he was special to this area and to the kids at Angelus.
Yeah, I think that's what's the coolest thing about it is moving down here to Port Richey. And I tell you, my wife and I were on the verge of buying a house back in Tennessee, maybe keeping this one for the summertime or the wintertime. And then Mark came along, which has been great. And then to get to meet people like you, Steve, is nothing but a gift. And I mean that. Sir, thank you for doing what you're doing today. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back, okay?
3.
Your guitar isn't just an instrument, it's your voice, your soul, your weapon. So don't let it dull out. Bring it to life with Doc Simon's Miracle Guitar Polish, the premium 4-ounce organic formula that restores, protects, and ignites your finish with a stage-ready shine. Safe for every guitar finish and fine wooden instrument. Zero junk, all tone. Whether you're shredding solos or strumming stories, this polish delivers pro-level results every time. Make your guitar look as good as it sounds. Doc Simon's Miracle Guitar Polish. Your secret weapon for shine, tone, and total respect. Get yours now at SlamoCustomGuitars.com. That's SLAMO CustomGuitars.com.
All right, welcome back, you guys. Hey, listen, this has been nothing but a pleasure. We're sitting here talking about the Angelus country concerts that Charlie Daniels used to do with all these celebrities that would come down and help and donate their time, and just a wonderful gift to children. Steve, could you talk just a little bit more about that charitable event and what it really means and how people can get involved?
Well, you can go on the Angelus website, which is Angelus, ANGELUS.com, and you can read all about the Angelus and the various events that we have, fundraisers. And, you know, as you all know, Charlie passed away several years ago, and unfortunately, the country concert has somewhat gone by the wayside. We have tried other attempts to get some people in that would help us. And the two particular groups that have always been very loyal to the Angelus is Confederate Railroad and the Marshall Tucker Band. They have performed a number of years, but since Charlie died, we don't have any replacement.
Sure.
And we could sure use a replacement.
Okay, Nashville folks, we need a leader. Listen now, we all know somebody that can step up. This is a really easy event. It would be near and dear, and you all know it can be a good tax write-off, so stop it. So come on down and help if you can. Listen, he said the website, theangelus.com, TheAngelus.com. Check it out, theangelus.com. Check it out, see if you can help. What else can you tell me about Charlie Daniels? I mean, I can't tell you how much he's honored in Nashville. Like if he walked into a record label today and said, "Here, I have this catalogs of songs, The Devil Went Down to Georgia," do you think they would sign him today?
Charlie was talented enough that I think he could keep up with today's country music.
I think so too, and I think it would be a spin that of the generation that it's forgotten. I believe, this is just my opinion, I think that record labels are going towards more of the children and forgot about the 50, 60, and 70-year-olds because we're not so good on the internet stuff and the downloads. Right. So they gravitated towards putting songs out that all sound exactly the same with the exact same singers, shoving the same songs down your throat over and 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 over again.
Yeah.
And when you turn on the radio, you can't tell who's who anymore.
Well, that's why y'all should come to Newport Richey.
That's why you should come to Port Richey.
You should come to Chupacabras, okay? Down here to the Writer's Block stage and be yourself.
When do you think that's going to open? January this year?
I'm hoping January, yes.
That's a good goal because you've made a heck of a good progress over there.
Yes, since I got the permit, we've made great progress. But
sometimes it takes time.
Yeah, but you just made, your wife's from Tennessee. God bless her. Yeah. She's a doll.
Thanks.
And you just mentioned how you were thinking about it, but then you realized there's a piece of Nashville here, and Newport Richey, this beautiful little city. We have a music festival, a great one called Chasco Fiesta.
We gotta get this taken care of with Johnny.
Well, there's a beautiful stage there, and two guys, Chuck Gray and Gary Gann, have really worked hard to get the Chasco Fiesta. And they bring in music, quite a bit of music every year. And we're gonna reach out to those folks, and we're gonna make this happen. But this is the perfect place to honor Johnny Cash and Charlie Daniels, all these guys that have been through here many years for Angelus.
I don't think a lot of people knew it.
They don't know.
I knew Johnny lived here by happenstance because I read John's book, and that's how I knew that Johnny had a place over there on Sunset. And I drove over there a couple of days ago to look at it. Beautiful little home. It's tucked away back. I mean, it's you couldn't ask for a better location for sure where Maybell bought that thing.
Right. And people don't know his brother Tommy was part of Angelus.
Tommy Cash was really nice, you guys.
Yeah.
Did you meet Tommy Cash?
Yeah, a number of times. Yeah. He was a very, very nice man.
Just the sweetest guy. And he just passed away. And like I said, he's buried right next to his mom and dad. I mean, it's his mom, dad, and him. And Johnny's 50 feet away with his wife, and he has a bunch of people with him. But anyway, I just thought the world of Tommy Cash. Your brother was but he made his own mark. It's kind of like the Loretta Lynn and Crystal Gale thing. They did their own thing and they made their mark.
Yeah, and I think you'll see that with Vince Gill's daughter, too, because she's got a fabulous...
Allie Colleen, too, Garth's daughter, she is doing it. Holy cow. And you know what I loved about her the most is that she didn't go, call me Allie Brooks, because of my dad. She went, no. I'm going to do this my way.
Hey, don't forget about Tommy Prine, John Prine's son. He's another one doing it his way.
Yeah, another one.
And his dad wouldn't want it any other way.
No, you got to do it your way because you're never going to copy your father or your mother. They had their style. You got to do your.
That's right.
Leanne Womack's daughter's out there. She just got signed to I think it was Sony. Excuse me if I'm wrong, but I just read an article, so I'm really proud of her on that one as well.
Good.
Awesome. So, in closing, Steve, I want to thank you for sitting down with us today and letting us see the world of Charlie Daniels through your eyes, not as icons, but as one of your friends. I think it was pretty cool that you reminded us that they're human beings first and they're celebrities second. And your time was valuable. And, sir, I want to tell you how much we appreciate you coming in. Is there any last things that you'd like to say about your friend Charlie Daniels?
Just, you can't say enough good things about Charlie. And Charlie loved the Angelus. And I would hope that some of the people that hear this may share his love for the Angelus and help us, because we just don't have the revenue that we used to have as a result of the Charlie event. And we are struggling sometimes financially, and it would certainly be helpful.
Very sweet. You guys do what you can, okay? Go on that website. Don't forget, it's the THE Angelus, ANGELUS.com. If $5 doesn't seem like much, but if 1,000 people give $5, it adds up real quick. So do what you can.
Yeah, right. And for the artists out there that may want to be remembered like we remember Charlie for his greatness and his kindness, this is a valid event to take up.
Sure. And if they go on that site, they could quickly find out who they need to contact to get everything set. Steve Booth will handle it.
I can tell you where you can find him every morning.
For coffee?
Yeah.
That's great, everybody. Hey, like and subscribe if you like what we do, because we sure appreciate you. I'll tell you this, everybody. Hang tight with us. I cannot keep up with the very, very sweet emails that we're getting and kind words. We have a lot of guests coming up. I'm already booked through January. So thank you so much for everything you guys done to support my show. And also for these kind people that take care of the people who need us most, or the unspoken heroes, and that guy sitting next to me. Thank you again so much for coming in and seeing us today. I appreciate it, Steve.
Thank you.
Mark, thanks for joining.
Oh, appreciate it, Steve. Thanks a lot.
Mark in the booth, as always, we appreciate you, sir.
My pleasure.
See y'all.
Thanks for joining Scotty and Friends. Don't forget to like and subscribe to join the Drop Me Off in Nashville family. Engineering and production provided by Podcast Production Music.
Well, Nashville, can't thank you enough for all the time.
Y'all come back now. Here?